Good morning to everyone. This is my second attempt at a video this morning because I did make one, and I just after watching it back, and I was swinging the camera from side to side, and yeah, I was feeling seasick, so I'm going to try and keep the camera really steady. It's just going to be a short video. I just want to let you know what's coming up and what I'm thinking about today. I'm just doing up my parka jacket because it's very cold. Very cold. Spring is kind of dipping in and out, as she does. So we're on one of those cold days today. Come on, Jack. So this is April, and next month of course is May, or in the Irish, Bealtaine. And the reason why I mention it is because next month will be the 14th anniversary of the Bealtaine Project. And the Bealtaine Project, as those of you who've been following my vlogs for some time now will know, that Bealtaine is the old Irish word for May. And the Bealtaine Project was actually was begun in May 2004. So the 14th anniversary is next month. There's a lot to celebrate. I've got people coming, visitors coming every single day for the month of Bealtaine. And so I'm going to be very busy. But it's a great time of celebration, because Bealtaine also, of course, is the very first month of the summer. Bealtaine means summer. And it's just a wonderful time. But there's two things I want to kind of emphasise, if you like, about this 14th celebration. And for me is what makes it worth celebrating. The first one is that when I began the Bealtaine Project 14 years ago, most of my friends and all of my family thought I'd lost my marbles. Well, those of you who know me know that I never had any marbles to begin with, so I lost nothing. I'm a woman driven by passion and conviction. And my passion and conviction 14 years ago was that the EU was wrong, and that the west of Ireland was being devastated by EU policy. And the EU policy was very simple. You overstock the land, you bring it to a point of degradation where it's been abused for so long. It then becomes, in inverted commas, poor land, poor agricultural land, and within that poor agricultural land, the stakeholders of the farmers who own it then have access to very generous grants to go and plant Sitka spruce. And Sitka spruce is a monoculture. It's planting thousands of trees, cramming them in on acres in straight lines, so dense that it's almost impossible for a human being to get between the trees unless they have something to cut away the branches and actually get in. It's dense, it's monoculture, it's the death of the land. The land itself dies. The land is so oppressed and so dark and dismal, it actually dies. Very little exists in those Sitka spruce forests, and they're springing up all over Ireland. So my first intention, my first goal was to take on the EU. And it's probably because of what I was doing that every grant that I ever applied for was denied to me. I got no financial help at all whatsoever. And this lane at Ballyfermoil is about 1.5 miles long, and I would be the only landholder on this lane who has never had a grant. But if you look, I'll just point the camera on the field next door. There's the field next door. That's what the EU wants. And then if you look beyond those houses over there, you can see that Sitka spruce forestry. I'll just come back down here a little bit and just pan the camera up. You can see the Sitka spruce forestry, look. Okay, there it is. Can you see it? It's just a big black mass, and it goes up and up the hill, and nothing lives in there. So that's what the EU wants. And of course, you see, when you plant the land like that and you get your grants, you can then walk away. You can walk away from it. You don't have any connection then to the land. You can just walk away, take the money and you know, go and live in the town, or go and live in the city, or go and live abroad, or just do nothing. Sit at home all day and watch Jeremy Kyle on the television, you know, whatever it is. But it basically is about disconnecting people from the land. So what I've done here, well, you all know what I've done. I don't have to spell it out. I took the poor land and I planted it compassionately and creatively, and all the time engaging with Mother Earth and trying to listen to what it was that she wanted. And I can hear her now. Can you hear her? You see? So that was the first challenge. And I suppose the powers that be thought, well, if we just ignore that woman there and we turn her down for all the grants and we don't give her any help and we laugh at her and we mock her and we ignore her, that she'll go away. The Bealtaine Project hasn't gone away. The Bealtaine Project has thrived. Look at her. She's thrived. If I go away now and just go out there and lock that gate and never come back, she'll continue thriving. So in your eye, EU, and you policy makers of destruction. So that was the first challenge. And the second challenge, of course, was that a woman on her own, which is inherently tied up in the first challenge, that a woman on her own, I mean, especially a woman on her own, of a certain age, with no money and without access to anything, can actually do this. And then what evolved from there, of course, has been, because I'll be honest and say the first few years were bloody hard. I mean, I did endure a lot of hardship. I really did. But I'll tell you something else. Past 14 years have been the best 14 years of my life. I have loved every minute. I have resented going to bed because I didn't want to stop. And as I lay in bed each night, I would dream of what it was I would be doing the next morning. Planting. So then, of course, I decided to go out onto the World Wide Web because I was ignored to the point of almost being isolated. But I never questioned whether or not I was doing the right thing, because I knew, inherently I knew. And I became closer and closer to Mother Earth. And oh, there's a little girlie coming through the gate. Oh, you rascal. She's going to come in now for her breakfast and go to bed, hopefully then. But I've enjoyed every minute of it. I'll be more than happy to celebrate with all my visitors. Every day of May is given over to visitors. I'm just still in awe. I'm still in awe of this incredible force that I refer to as the Great Goddess, the Great Mother, Mother Earth, Gaia. She's incredible. She's incredible and she's powerful, and I'm not surprised that so many people want to destroy her, because jealousy is a horrible thing, and jealousy is a very destructive force. And you see all those suited and booted idiots in the EU would of course be very jealous of her. And there is a very dark force. There is a very dark, malevolent force that rides over the earth. And that dark, malevolent force is doing everything in its power to disconnect the human race from the Great Mother. And it manifests itself in so many different ways. It manifests itself in government, in policy, in religion, in gender inequality, in patriarchy. It's a very dark, malevolent force. And the worst of it wants us not to look at her, but to look up. To look up. As though there's something better up there, when really everything that is magical and wonderful and joyous and beautiful is here. Look at her. So yes, there's a lot to celebrate, and I want to look forward as well, because there are more chapters. There are more chapters in this. And there's something wonderful ahead. There's something really wonderful. There is a big expansion of this. There are times when I feel that what is here at Bealtaine is almost ready to explode into millions and millions of little fragments that will seed themselves. Jack's waiting for a car. Wow. I'll try not to wobble this camera. It's very hard sometimes because I sort of swing when I walk. Oh, there he is. If I hold it with both hands, it might be better. So, I shall walk back up to the cottage and upload this video and put out my little offering for the day. I'll say something else actually about the Sitka spruce. There's a lot of foreign investment companies coming into Ireland and buying up the land and planting it with Sitka spruce for all the grant money, because it makes a really good investment financially. Financially, yeah. All those pieces of paper can buy people yachts and big houses and foreign holidays and Rolex watches and all the things that don't matter. In fact, there's a big advertising campaign. It's been launched by one of the political parties here in Ireland, and they're trying to mobilise people against what they refer to as the land grab. The land grab. Well, we shall see. We shall see. I think year 14 will bring some very interesting events. You see, because I believe that her energy is the most powerful energy there is. We shall see. Now, on that note, oh, I must just share this with you first before we go. Now, I've got some beautiful plants here. Look at these. These are cowslips, primulas, and Jacob's ladder and delphinium and sweet william. Some beautiful plants. And you know where I got them? I stopped in at a prison. I got these from a prison. A prison not too far from here is developing all kinds of wonderful programs to enable the prisoners to embrace more interesting abilities. And one of them, of course, is horticulture. And all these plants have been grown by prisoners. And the prison itself has kind of opened part of the kind of perimeter where they've put in polytunnels and training workshops and even a cafe that sells, now I haven't tasted it yet because I'm on a juice fast, but apparently beautiful tea and coffee and the most delicious home-baked scones and cakes, and all done by the prisoners. So this is something that I wholeheartedly support. So I was more than happy to, as I was passing it, to drive in and explore what it was, you know, what it was all about, and buy these plants. Because that's the kind of thing, that's the kind of, you know, I mean, this gives hope, you see. This is about hope. This is about helping and enabling people to embrace something better. And I've always believed that prisons should be about reform, because the very act of imprisoning someone is punishment. But what happens within those prisons should be about reform, and allowing people to move on to something better and more fitting and more helpful for the greater good of society. So aren't these wonderful plants? A welcome addition to Bealtaine. Now, there we go. That's some of your good news for the day. Ignore the mainstream media because they're just beating the drums for war. Oh, they want war. Because you know what war brings? Brings a lot of money for a very few people. So I ignore all that. The real news is around you. So, there we go. Right, I shall go and upload this. Have a lovely day, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And there's so many good things happening in the world. There's so many good things. I only have to look at the way the Bealtaine Project has grown. And not just here, physically, but right across the world. Right across the world. I'm getting messages all the time from people. And one of these days I'm going to sit down, I'm going to open up my file of letters to Bealtaine and I'm going to read some of those to you. Blessings to you all.